Welcome to the Night Trader Club. We find opportunities in the market and make some money. Before we get into another community request, hit the like, subscribe, and notification buttons. Don't forget, if you're a subscriber, then send in a stock or ticker by request. Enjoy the video. Happy hump day, everybody. Let's take a look at Palantir Technologies, ticker PLTR. I want to look at the recent trading history, talk about some support and resistance, and then go over the falling wedge pattern. Before we get into the video, let's take a minute to thank our sponsors. This episode is sponsored by Zintech Straw Repair. If you have ever ordered a beverage to go and received a broken straw, then suffer no more. Just call up the Broken Straw emergency line and they will dispatch an expert technician to your location. Again, Zintech Straw Repair. That is Zintech Straw Repair. Never throw a strawless beverage away again. All right, let's get into the chart. If I had to describe Palantir, I would describe it as consolidating right now. It is consolidating after that steep correction that we've been experiencing in the market since mid-February. All right, so it has been consolidating, it has been falling, but it found some footing at $23. And that, if you watched last week's video on Palantir, these support and resistance levels have not changed. I have not touched this chart at all. So it was nice to see Palantir continue to hold this support line. I wish it was higher, but if it does go higher, we're going to expect resistance at $29. Speaking of resistance at $29 and support at $23, this really isn't anything new for Palantir. All right, this is where Palantir has been trading for the majority of its trading history. It's only been listed for a few months. So if you've been in Palantir for a while, this is nothing new to you. If you've been in Palantir, if you got in recently, I'm sure you're hurting and bag holding. It's not fun. But I have the 6-month chart pulled up here for a reason. Just get some perspective, all right? We had a steep market correction, and Palantir came back to support levels. That's actually bullish for the stock, all right? Bullish for when the market and money rotates back into these growth stocks. All right, and also what we should look at is the volume. Okay, so there was some pretty distinct falling, all right, selling. We know that the market was selling off, but what we can see is the stock is falling, and like I would say, it's been consolidating since mid-February. It's been consolidating on declining volume, which means the selling pressure, the pressure to sell has been falling. There has not been much upward, buying. But again, the buying that there was keeping it above support level 1, which again, very bullish. So we're consolidating on declining volume, which is bullish. This is saying that the selling pressure is ending, all right? It's decreasing in selling pressure. And speaking of that decreasing in selling pressure, that's actually one of the prerequisites for a falling wedge pattern. So we'll go ahead and get into that falling wedge pattern now. I'm going to draw it on here, but what a falling wedge pattern shows you is that there's going to be a reversal in the recent downward pressure, all right? So one other thing that you need, the first thing that you need for a falling wedge pattern is a distinct move to the upside. So we have that right here from $25 up to $45, all right? And then the second thing you need in the falling wedge is a distinct reversal from that upward movement, all right? And we got that, and that was certainly reinforced by the market sell-off rotation out of the growth stocks, okay? So I'll draw the wedge now. So you take the wedge from the high, and you go to the next high. So a wedge is going to need at least 2 distinct upward movements, okay? And it's going to need at least 2 distinct downward movements. So we are... Okay, now you can see that the wedge is starting to coalesce. That's, part of the wedge. And the highs, the extremes of the highs and the lows are getting tighter and tighter. That's the other thing you need with the wedge. So the lows and the highs are getting a little bit more controlled, all right? Less volatile. And then the last thing you need for the falling wedge is a decline in the selling pressure, which we have here. So we have consolidation within support level 1, resistance level 1 on declining volume with a healthy RSI. So that signal is bullish to me. So I will remove the wedge pattern to declutter, and we can see where does this go from here. Okay, what I would like to use is a pitchfork, because this is setting up very nicely for a pitchfork. We're going to use yellow, so we'll go ahead, I'll talk through drawing it on. We're going to use the base of the beginning of the run up to the highest point of the run, and then down to its lowest point of the run's reversal. All right, so that was a distinct reversal. That looks about close enough. Okay, so when you're working on a pitchfork expecting upward momentum, you can use price and time of the run to give you an idea of where it's going to go next. So we're going to use a segment. We'll use light blue again. All right, so we'll go from the base of the run up to the top of the high, and then you apply that segment. You apply that to the base of the reversal. Okay, get that. There we go. And let's just scroll over and see where. All right, so it matches up, relatively perfectly at around $58. So if you scoff at price and time, how it what if you're saying why would that run in price and time? You take that because it's already a proof of what has occurred. Okay, so we just took the length of that run in price and time and applied it to the base of this reversal. All right, so obviously we want this to happen. If you're very bullish on Palantir, an average bull, if I would be expecting, around June 18th, Palantir to be trading around $55 to $60. If you're very, very bullish, April, mid-April, okay. And if it's going to grow linearly, it's going to be sometime in July. All right, it won't scroll over that far, but it'll be sometime in July. And why does this center line, why is it important? Why am I using that as a reference of where price and time, where it'll be? Well, the center line acts as a magnet for the stock. So we'll go ahead and zoom out a bit and look at that. So prove that. So you have the center line, all right? And it's basically you're at an average or a magnet. So the stock is trading, around that center line. So I'm not saying exactly on June 21st, it'll be $55 to $60. I'm saying, you can expect upwards or downwards movement around this area. So I'll be looking for within this range. All right. If it breaks to the upside, that might sound like a good thing. If it does break to the upside, you have to reevaluate. All right. And then once June 21st comes anyways, you would want to reevaluate the pitchfork. But if it does trade to the upside, you would still want to reevaluate it. Does seem like a good thing, but you have to reevaluate. And the same if the stock trades distinctly below the bottom of the channel. All right, so we've gone over the falling wedge, drew a pitchfork for where that needs to go. We've gone over the volume requirements that are needed for the falling wedge. So let's just see, what does the stock need to do in order for this to fulfill? Obviously, it needs to go up, but what I'm going to be watching is the time and price of this pitchfork. Okay, so we'll move this up so we can see. We have been bouncing off this bottom trend line, so I want to see that hold again in time and price. This blue line, it's red now, but the blue line is going to be the center. All right, I want to see it gravitating towards this. All right, we'll see it gravitating towards that. But really quickly about the volume before we wrap it up. With the volume, just note that it is very, very low. It did have a relatively high amount of volume today, but it is low. So any distinct upwards movement is going to be well received by Palantir. All right, and about that, you should look into the recent article from Bazinga. All right, I'm not putting too much trust in Bazinga, but what they were referencing is the amount of times Palantir has been referenced and posted on Wall Street Bets and on the Reddit investment groups. So Palantir is one of the top trending tickers for Wall Street Bets right now. So that's all the Bazinga article was talking about. I encourage you to go take a look at it. That's going to wrap it up for the video. If you guys have any questions, please let me know. If you guys disagree, let's talk about it. If you guys have any requests, use the comment section. I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you. I hope you found the information in this video useful. If you have any questions about this stock or a request for a new video, then reach out to me in the comments or on Twitter. Thanks for sticking around, and I'll see you in the next one.